Thank you for tuning into Abundant Moments. There's an account in 1 Samuel of a young boy by the name of David. And we all know about David and Goliath. We know about David's life. A lot of us do, that he became the greatest king that Israel has ever known. But there's an account where Saul, who was the king, had disobeyed God, and so God rejected Saul as being the king. So God spoke to his prophet Samuel and said, I want you to go to a man by the name of Jesse's house. Jesse has 8 sons, and I want you to go there because one of his sons is going to be the next king after Saul. And I want you to anoint him as king. Well, can you imagine being Jesse, having all these sons, and getting word that Samuel, the prophet, was coming, and one of your sons is going to be the next king? You would think that he would have all of his sons right there in the house, all of them ready to see which one it was going to be, but he didn't. He had all of them in the house but David. David was out tending his father's sheep. David was thought so less of by his family, by his father and his brothers, that they didn't even include him. And so when Samuel got to Jesse's house, he walked back and forth in front of his sons, and the Holy Spirit didn't speak to him to say any of them was going to be the next king. I'm sure Eliab, the oldest son, thought it was going to be him, and the other brothers probably did too. But God didn't say it was going to be any of these. And so Samuel, a little confused, looked at Jesse and said, do you have any other sons? Jesse said, well, yeah, David, but it's just David. He's out tending the sheep. And he said, bring him in. So the other brothers were all cleaned up, waiting for the prophet to get there. And here is David, out smelly in the field with the sheep all night, dirty. And they call for him to come in because the prophet wants to see him. Now, you got to put yourself for just a minute in David's place. He's probably thinking, what? I knew he was coming, but wasn't it Eliab? What's going on here? Why does he want to see me? And here comes David into the house, smelly, dirty, stinky. And as Samuel goes to him, he says, this is the next king. You see, God had spoke to Samuel before he got there and said, I do not look on man's outward appearance, but I look on their heart. And that is what I want to focus on today. I want you to realize God doesn't look on our outward appearance, but he looks on our heart. And so many times we feel like we don't measure up. We feel like we're the least, like David. His whole family thought he was the least. Sometimes we feel that way. Sometimes we feel like we're the outcast. We're not even brought in as David wasn't. We're not even there as David wasn't. But I want you to know, God knows our heart. He looks on our heart. And God is able to bring us to the forefront if we will just trust in him. We don't have to try to open the doors on our own. We don't have to try to convince everybody who we are. We don't have to try to, look like everybody else. Be yourself. Trust in God with all your heart because God looks on your heart. And no, promotion comes from the Lord. He knows right where you're at. Keep doing what you're supposed to be doing. No, God looks on your heart and he will bring you to that place that he has intended for you, because we know God has great plans for us. We know, according to Jeremiah 1:5, he knew us while we were still in our mother's womb and already had a plan for us. God looks on your heart today. Look on other people's hearts. Stop looking at them and judging them and prejudging them based on whatever, skin color, what they wear, tattoo, not tattoo, whatever. Let's look on people's hearts. Aren't you glad God looks on our heart? And God brought David, and David was anointed, and David became the greatest king Israel ever had. Thank you for tuning in.